Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to start chapter 4 Air. Our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects of the sun rays. So air helps us to breathe, and it also helps us to by protecting by the harmful effects of the sun rays. Without the blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during the day and get frozen during the night. So it is the mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. So because of air, the temperature of earth is sustainable for humans and other living organisms. So here is a do you know section. It says carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth. It is therefore called a greenhouse gas, and without it earth would have been too cold to live in. However, when its level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke or car fumes, the heat retained increases the temperature of the earth. This is called global warming. This rise in temperature causes the snow in coldest part of the world to melt. As a result, the sea level rises, causing flood in the coastal areas. There may be drastic change in the climate of the place, leading to extinction of some plants and animals in the long run. So what is the composition of the atmosphere? Do you know that the air we take in the while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases? Nitrogen and oxygen are two gases which make up the bulk of the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen are found in lesser quantities. Apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. The pie chart gives you the percentage of different constituents of air. So you can see in figure 4.1, oxygen is 21%, nitrogen is maximum 78%, carbon dioxide is 0.03% and argon is 0.93%, and all other gases are 0.04%. So nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. So we have seen in the pie chart. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots are some plants take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. So we have seen in the science chapter of plant that nitrogen is taken by the bacteria, and these bacteria leave some waste and the plant uses it from the soil through the root. So oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Human and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. If we cut trees, then the balance gets disturbed. So if we cut trees, then the balance of oxygen will be disturbed. So there is a do you know section. When air is heated, it expands, become lighter and goes up. Cold air is denser and heavy. This is why it tends to sink down. Hot air rises, cold air from surrounding area rushes there to fill in the gap. That is how air circulation takes place. So this is how the circulation of air takes place. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and releases oxygen. Humans or animals release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by human or animals seem to be equal to the amount used by the plant, which make a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. So they add billions of tons of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere each year. As a result, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. So you can see the global warming problem is there, and there are several news about it. So you can see CO2 level at 8 lakh year high, warming unstoppable, global warming projection, global sunscreen likely thinned, global warming can bring back Jurassic area. So these are the warnings given in the newspaper. So Reed and Ponter, is global warming a serious issue in today's world? So yes, global warming is a very serious issue in the world. So the structure of atmosphere, our atmosphere is divided into 5 layers starting from the Earth's surface. There are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. So you can see in figure 4.2, these layers. So troposphere, this layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometer. The air we breathe exists here. So in troposphere we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog and hailstorm occur in this layer. Stratosphere, above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. It extends to the height of 50 km. This layer is almost free from cloud and associated weather phenomena, making condition most ideal for flying aeroplanes. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effects of the sun rays. So ozone layer helps us to from the harmful effects of the sun rays. So after that is the mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 km. Meteorites burns up in this layer on entering from the space. And the thermosphere, in thermosphere temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 km. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. So radio waves that are transmitted from the earth is reflected back by this layer. And exosphere, the uppermost part of the atmosphere, is known as the exosphere. This layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. So here is a Let's Do section. For 10 days, note down weather report from a local newspaper and observe the changes occurring in the weather. And there is a Do You Know section also. You will be surprised to know that the earth receives only 2 Arab parts of the sun's energy. Only 1 in 2 Arab parts of sun energy. So it is very less energy which earth receives from the sun. Weather and climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times we heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fate of one-day match? If we imagine our body to be a radio and the mind to be its speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. Hot or humid weather may make one irritable. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place for longer period of time represent the climate of the place. Now, do you understand why we have daily weather forecast? So this weather and climate we have learnt in science also. So there is a separate chapter for it and we have studied in that part. And here also it is the same. Temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as the temperature. So degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as the temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Summer are hotter than winter. So we all know that summer are hotter than winter. And an important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is isolation. Isolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. So insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. So in the figure 4.3 we see the weather instrument. So we have seen the thermometer measures the temperature, barometer measures the atmospheric pressure, and rain gauge measures the amount of rain, and wind vane shows the direction of the wind. The amount of the insolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. So the amount of insolation is decreased from the equator towards the pole. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now, do you understand why poles are covered with snow? If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for the crops to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of the villages. The concrete and metal in buildings and the asphalt of roads get heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night. So we know that. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the city. So the skyscrapers also affect the temperature of the cities. So there is a Do You Know section. The standard unit of measuring temperature is degree Celsius. It was invented by Anders Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So now we will study about air pressure. You will be surprised to know that air above us presses us with a great force on our body. However, we don't even feel it. This is because the air presses us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by a weight of air on the earth's surface. As we go up the layer of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. So as we go above the surface of the earth, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. So where the temperature is high, the air gets heated and it rises above. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure area is associated with clear and sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure area to low pressure areas. So here is a do you know section. On the moon there is no air and hence no air pressure. Astronauts have to wear special protective spacesuits filled with air when they go to the moon. If they do not wear these spacesuits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronauts would make the blood vessels burst. The astronauts would bleed. Now we will study wind. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. You can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots tree during a storm. Sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. So at times wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it. It is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. So here is a do you know section. A wind is named from the direction from which it blows. Example, the wind blowing from the west is called a westerly. Think of some other examples when strong winds have created problems for you. Wind can be broadly divided into three types. Permanent winds. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These blows constantly throughout the year in particular direction. And seasonal winds. These winds changes their direction in different seasons. For example, monsoon in India. So there are seasonal winds. When there is monsoon, there is different seasonal wind. 3. Local winds. These blow only during a particular period of the year or day in a small area. For example, land and sea breeze. Do you recall the hot and dry local wind of northern plains of India? It is too low. It is called Lu. Cyclone, nature's fury. Odisha, located on the eastern sea coast of India, is prone to cyclones. So Odisha is prone to cyclone that originate in the Bay of Bengal. On 17 to 18 October 1999, a cyclone hit 5 districts of the state. Another super cyclone occurred on the 29th October of 1999. Only after the 10 days or 11 days that devastated large portion of the state. The damage caused were mainly due to 3 factors: wind velocity, rain and tidal surge. The wind of up to 260 km per hour lasted for over 36 hours. So it was too much devastating. These high velocity winds uprooted trees and damaged the kacha houses. Rooftops of several industrial sheds and other houses were also blown away. Power supply and telecom lines snapped completely. Heavy rain occurred under the influence of the cyclone for 3 days continuously. This rain led to flooding in the major rivers of Odisha. The cyclonic winds caused tidal waves that swept 20 kilometers inland and brought massive destruction to the coastal areas. The 7 to 10 meter high tidal waves intruded suddenly and caused massive damage to the standing paddy crops. So it was very devastating. So you can see in the picture the destruction caused by a cyclone. The cyclone originated as a depression in the Gulf of Thailand near east of Port Blair on 25th October 1999 and gradually moved in the northwestern direction. It intensified into super cyclone and hit the area between Erasama and Balikuda in Odisha on 29th October at 10:30 am. The super cyclone swept the entire coast of Odisha, including the cities of Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, and 28 coastal towns. About 13 million people were affected. A large number of livestock were killed. Standing crops of paddy, vegetables, and fruits were heavily damaged. Due to the salinization caused by the tidal surge, large tracts of agricultural land have become infertile. Large tracts of sal, teak, and bamboo plantations have disappeared. The mangrove forests between Paradeep and Konark vanished. So it was very devastating. So now I will study about the moisture. When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. Moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. When the air is full of water vapor, we call it humid day. As the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. On a humid day, clothes take longer to dry and sweat from our body does not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. When the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. Clouds are just masses of such water droplets. When these droplets of water becomes too heavy to float in air, then they come down as precipitation. Jet planes flying in the sky leave a wide trail behind them. The moisture from their engines condenses. We see trail of this condensed moisture of some time when there is no air movement to disturb it. Precipitation that comes down to the earth in liquid form is called the rain. Most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. Plants help preserve water. When trees on hillside are cut, rainwater flows down the bare mountain and can cause flooding of low-lying areas. On the basis of mechanism, here there are three types of rainfall: the conventional rain, the orographic rainfall, and the cyclonic rainfall. You can see it in the figure 4.5. Rainfall is very important for the survival of plants and animals. It brings fresh water to the earth's surface. If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occurs. On the other hand, if it is more, flood takes place. So there is a do you know section. Other forms of precipitation are snow, sleet, and hail. So here the chapter is finished and we will start the next chapter in the next class. Thank you.